2 to 3 p.m. each day, where it becomes rather unpleasant to be around, I think is the most accurate summary.
That's a fair point. Okay, who's the nerd? Who's the nerd at the PGA Tour that she dubs him for? Did you see what I had for dinner?
Were you in a Chinese restaurant?
I was in a Thai restaurant.
In Seaford?
Yeah, I thought you were about to say in a blazer.
I just assumed you were in the blazer.
No, Thai elephant.
Oh,
Yeah. Thai elephant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that one on the seafront.
Yeah, you got a good report at school, so we used it as an excuse to go and celebrate.
Oh, lovely.
Which she loved. It's her favourite restaurant.
Well, what does she have?
We just, because it's all you can eat, right?
Oh,
it's like you order.
Yeah.
And they just bring it out. Now, is this sacrilege? We literally just got starters.
Sorry, I've not frozen. I was just trying to sort of compute that. Okay.
I'll tell you what happened. Let me run you through it. So we got there and we were very hungry. They'd just come out of nursery, super hungry. And we eat 2 plates of prawn crackers in no time. They're gone. They can't bring them out quick enough. So we've already made a bit of a mistake there. We started to fill ourselves up early. And then we ordered the starters, and there's all sorts of stuff. It's like Thai, Japanese, Chinese cuisine all kind of mixed, that place. And Malaysian, I think it is. So we just fill up on starters. We order more starters. You've got lots of chicken-based sort of stuff, seaweed, things like this. I basically filled myself up on starters. And we did, I think, 2.5 sort of rounds of starters. And then it came to, okay, we should probably order some mains. But I was full. And I desperately wanted to order some mains. But I sat there and I thought, I know I had this later. I was like, I've got the podcast later. I don't want to feel uncomfortable for it. That's job one. I had a couple of Tsingtaos.
You've made me feel uncomfortable.
I've made everyone feel uncomfortable. Made the audience feel uncomfortable.
Did you essentially just say, can you bring out all of your crispy stuff?
Yeah. Pretty much. Well, the kids... Well, it was fun, actually. They bought them little chopsticks and stuff. And I used chopsticks to show the kids I could use chopsticks. People were looking at me like, oh, wow, this guy must have spent quite a bit of time in Asia. And it's like, no, I just had a lot of Chinese growing up.
Yeah.
And and I ate a lot of crispy, high in MSG stuff, essentially. And I was just full. I had a couple of Tsingtaos, which were great. That's the little Chinese beer that they do, or Thai beer, I don't know.
330
They called it Chinese beer. Yeah, just the little ones. Yeah, I had a couple of those, which was nice. And then we just moved on to dessert. We just went straight from starter to dessert. But there was a small win there, because at the end, I think because of the lack of food that we probably ordered at an all-you-can-eat buffet, they did only charge us half price for the kids.
Okay. Small wins and all that.
Small wins. It was still quite expensive, I thought, but nonetheless.
Yeah. But let's not forget, it was your decision only to order prawn crackers and starters. So.
Well, again, there was a moment where I was like, shall I get some egg fried rice and maybe some crispy shredded chili beef, maybe get some sort of Thai curry of some sorts on here. But I was being quite professional, actually, I think you'll find. And I thought about this later. I thought I couldn't do that to Ben. That was my thinking. I was like, he's
selfless. Selfless. Utterly selfless.
He's probably at home stretching his vocal cords right now, and here I am, a couple of Tsingtaos deep, just enjoying this sort of Asian fusion food, and professional.
In non-food news, did I tell you about my trip to Wentworth to the BMW?
Well, No, not really. For the purpose of this podcast, I'm going to go with no. You've given me little snippets, but
Okay.
let's dive a little deeper into
Okay,
Wentworth.
so Pro-Am Day is when we went, which was quite spectacular. I would recommend to anybody, if you're going to go to a golf tournament, if you can get to a Pro-Am Day, it's the best of both worlds. It's very relaxed. There's a lot of interaction with the players. They're all stopping to sign things all the way around. It's kind of like, okay, you don't get the competitive edge that you do on one of the tournament days, but it's quite hard to follow the competitive side of golf when you're walking the course live anyway. All right, there's scoreboards up and stuff, but you're mostly just there to see pro golfers doing things that you can only dream of, let's be honest.
Yeah, I've heard that if you're serious about golf or a golf competition you love to watch it on telly.
Yeah.
Because being at the thing, you're not going to see much golf, so that adds up.
I think you could apply that to most sports. I don't think you go to a football match to get a better insight into the game. You just go for the atmosphere, don't you, and the beers. Coverage of sports on TV is so good now, like to the point where when I get home from a game, there is part of me that thinks, oh, I almost wish I'd watched that on TV. Back to the golf, anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
So my big takeaway from it was the generational divide of golf in 2024. So amongst the amateurs was people who I was keenly interested in following around. Gareth Bale, Ben Stokes, Stuart Broad, shout out to BirDie, best cricketer of all time in my opinion. There was the Holland brothers. Also was buzzing to see Rory, Tommy Fleetwood and the gang. We'll come back to seeing Rory because that was special. But what really struck me was the biggest crowds were the YouTuber groups. It was quite staggering.
I bet.
There was a lot of young fans there, which was great. It's amazing to see like loads of ages, but it was I think I'd underestimated how big YouTube golf has become, to be honest. Because I watched the usual Rick Shields, Finchy, the kind of more established older ones. But there was like, is it the Four Brothers? Big Wedge. So there's a few of those guys there. And there was loads. There's loads of different YouTube golfers, but I just couldn't believe the crowds that they were drawing. We walked past this guy. I forget his name. It's really bad. Not great for podcasts. But my brother-in-law who I was with said, I think he's like famed for hitting stingers and stuff. That's his bag. And
Not Mac Boucher?
That's it. Yeah.
Canadian guy.
Yeah. That's it. We actually walked past him as well, and this is hilarious. I walked past him down the path and I said to my brother-in-law, look at that loser, he's even worn his golf glove. And he turned around and said, oh no, he's actually playing. That's that Boucher guy. Because
you thought he'd gone one extra.
Yeah, because
than just the golf shoes.
Oh man, alive. The golf shoes. I mean the golf gear, like I don't really get that, to be honest.
I guess it's kind of like going to watch a football match in a football shirt. But you wouldn't wear the shorts.
I think the equivalent to that is, okay, go and watch a golf tournament and wear a golf polo, maybe. It's like going to watch a football match and wearing a pair of blades.
Just click-clacking on the steps, on the concrete steps.
Down the concourse, in your studs, in your
Can you even
90s.
do that? Do you reckon you'd be let in?
Can't see why not.
Well, that's going to be a forfeit, for sure.
But that's the equivalent in my eyes. But there was guys there who were like in the full get-up. You know, the shorts, the polo, the jumper, the hat, the shoes.
Biggest day of the year, mate.
Yeah.
Biggest day of the year.
Yeah. Other highlight was the 100-foot challenge. 100-foot putt challenge, sorry. My brother-in-law, he just pulled all three of them straight into it was kind of like a long channel, about 60 centimetres wide and 100 foot long, and he just smashed it into the side all 3 times.
Yeah.
And I hit all 3 putts were like, crowd are going, oh, until a good, like a foot away. They were 3 magic putts. Absolute magic. So that was a little highlight. Also got it in on the chipping game as well.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
You were the guy just walking around with his putter all day.
Yeah.
Laughing at Matt Boucher.
I've always said it. If you go into a golf tournament, take all 3 wedges with you, just in case.
Take all 3. Or 4. If you use 4 in the bag, know where you're comfortable. Take all 4.
Yeah.
Don't mess around.
We're slightly dubious of people that take 4 wedges.
Well,
I exclude the pitching wedge from that because,
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I view that as part of your iron set. Yeah. Really, it's not really.
But when people rock up and they've got a 52, a 54, a 56, and a 60, you're thinking.
Yeah, you're thinking why not just go 58 as well?
Yeah.
Take out the 5 iron. You never use it.
Yeah. We're sceptical of that, but it was a glorious day out. I'd definitely recommend anyone going to the Pro-Am. It was absolutely wicked. The quality that got Gareth Bale was staggeringly good golfer. He was the only one playing off the championship tees, actually. Very, very talented.
He's obviously a very, very good golfer. I don't think he'll ever necessarily have what it takes to go.
No,
pro.
He's too old now. He's not been playing since he was a fetus. Like all the players
exactly. Have. I know there was rumours about it early on when he quit football of like, will he now go pro at golf? But I'm guessing that was just tabloid nonsense.
I'd be surprised. You never know. He might end up doing like open qualifying or something like that.
Well, there's first of all, sounds like Wentworth was amazing. I'd be well up for it next year. If you invite me, and don't just go with your brother-in-law and stuff.
He paid for me to go, but yeah.
Well, maybe I'll let you pay for me to go.
Okay.
Pay it back.
That's how this works. Yeah. Okay.
You see it in cafes now. Pay it forward, pay it back, all that. Great about Wentworth. I'm glad you had a lovely time. But I think you pick up on an important point there that probably is at the forefront of a lot of golfers' minds, whether that be for the positive or the negative. And that's about YouTube golf. Because there is without a doubt a demographic of golfers coming into the game that is unprecedented. Like, golf has never experienced such an influx as what there was during the pandemic. One, because of obviously it was one of the only sports you could do when everyone was told they couldn't play sports together. And 2, because right about that time also, one of the other things that a lot of people started doing is watching YouTube. Like, as if it was live TV. YouTube had a huge boom in that time. I think DIY reasons as well. People wanted to start seeing how they could do stuff in their own home because they had all that time. And then also to watch other people sort of living vicariously through them because of the opportunities that they had. And golf YouTube was that as well. And interestingly, I thought it would be the lessons side of golf YouTube. I thought it would be people that are taking up the game and trying to learn how to play better. That would boom. So your Rick Shills, your Peter Finches, the UK side of golfers with the lessons would take off.
There's definitely two different schools, isn't there? There's the game improvement channels.
Yeah.
And then there's the, I don't know, like golf comedy?
I'd say entertainment.
Yeah.
I'd say golf entertainment. And actually, the side that wins out clearly through all the analytics and everything like that is the golf entertainment side of things. And I think it's because of the opportunities that are afforded to the guys at the top end of that. To give you an example, I don't know if you've watched the Bryan Bros. So that's Wesley Bryan, who was a PGA Tour winner, or is a PGA Tour winner, and his brother George Bryan. Now, George is the older one, by all accounts, and quite clearly through his game as well, the more talented golfer. Wesley is the younger brother, not as much talent, but a far better mindset. And he made it to the PGA Tour, and he won on the PGA Tour because he's just a gritty golfer. Just gets the job done when it looks like he's out. And their channel have done the very clever thing of collaborating. And really, all other YouTube channels sort of fell behind a little bit on that game. And they've shown that that's probably the best way of growth. Because they've sort of gone from nothing to actually very high up by collaborating with bigger YouTube golfers.
Yeah, totally.
And they do one of the best series, I think, for what I like out of YouTube golf, which is the cut. So they'll go to major championship golf courses from the past, the present, whatever it may be, and compete there 2 rounds, like it's a Thursday and a Friday.
Oh, to make the cut score.
To make the cut.
Yeah.
And what makes that good is
It's a great idea.
It's so good. And they try and make it as close to real as possible. And obviously that takes the course being involved as well. So they went to Whistling Straits. And I believe Whistling Straits actually set the course up exactly the same. Gave them the same tee boxes, same pin positions for each day. They had caddies who were like really involved in the whole thing as well, and they were able to do it. And you've got Wesley, obviously, who you'd expect to make the cut. You've got George, who is like, well, he's kind of somewhat unproven. He has competed at PGA Tour level, but a little bit unproven, so you're not quite sure. And then they also rope in Grant Horvat, who's a big YouTube golfer, a lovely golfer, like a very good, probably +2, sort of +3 golfer.
He's insane.
Yeah. But he also isn't as good as those two. So he's kind of always sitting on the cut line. And it's honestly the best series, and they're about to release Bethpage Black, ready for the Ryder Cup. And that's going to be awesome. But if you haven't checked out that series, I would believe that anyone, it's so entertaining. And the videos are like 2 hours long per round.
Yeah.
Which I like that.
See, that's my jam. But I think with a lot of sort of younger golfers, they like just those short videos. They're like the 5-10 minute max ones. The ones you can watch on the toilet, which is great at its place, and that's fine. And I think it's great that there's something for everyone. I love DeChambeau's stuff.
Oh, it's brilliant.
And you know what? It's funny that I would hazard a guess that he's got just as many followers for people that just like his mucking around on YouTube, playing with weird clubs or tiny clubs or doing challenges, as he has for actually being a professional golfer.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking up his channel now, because he obviously released that video with. So he did John Daly.
Yeah. The Trump one was the big one, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did John Daly, and then literally, I think a week later, released the Trump one. And I think he went from 600,000 sort of subscribers up to 1.58 million in the space of a week.
Yeah.
Just insane growth.
And he's great.
To that.
He's great. He's funny. He's affable. He's really good in front of the cameras. It wouldn't surprise me if at some point he strikes as the sort of guy that one day will just get bored of competing on the tour as well, because he's a bit of a it strikes me that he's into golf for how he can change it, what he can bring to the table.
Yeah, I think people laughed at him. I think people laughed at him about Liv, and him saying that he went there to grow the game, because it was such a thing that was said, wasn't it, at the time? And I think through the news as well, they made it into this like quite abhorrent thing to say of like, oh, you're going to grow the game, or you're going to take a load of money. Actually, Bryson's sort of shown that he meant what he said, because he's donated a lot of money to charitable organisations to do with golf. And actually, with his spare time now, you can't deny that the guy has grown the game in this sector, and that there's a ton of young fans and older fans that maybe didn't like him before that now go, actually, like, he's doing good work for golf. And I think what you're finding is that Rick Shields, I think he's falling a little bit behind in that YouTube space now. He still is the most subscribed to YouTuber, but the guy's been on there for a very, very long time.
He's intensely annoying as well, let's be honest.
He is intensely annoying.
I find him quite jarring to watch now.
And I tell you what was a real good indicator of that. Brian Bros, again, released their video because they've invited them all to their golf course, which is insane that they've basically, off the back of their YouTube success, rebuilt a golf course in their hometown called Salina Golf Course. They invited Rick Shields out there, and you can just tell there's the rest of them all kind of get along pretty well, and there's quite a big ego on the guy. And I think it comes across pretty clearly through the videos. And I know you've mentioned to me before about there being some controversial stuff with him and
that fitting. Yeah, I
didn't see it.
I think he got away with it really, but it was a pretty damning indictment. He wasn't very pleasant, but I guess that comes with the territory of a success sometimes. Just changing tack slightly. Who do you think's the most dislikable player on the PGA Tour?
PGA Tour.
There's always a bad guy, isn't there?
For me, Patrick Cantlay.
What, because of the hat thing, the Ryder Cup?
No, I don't really care about that. I thought that was just a little bit on-site stuff that went on. But for me, just his demeanour, he's just an unlikable guy. I just view him as very unlikable. How about you?
I get the sense that Koepka might not be the nicest guy on the planet.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know, he just looks like the ultimate jock.
Yeah.
He's got high school jock written all over him. Sort of, what do they call it when they go to college? The guy that's doing the hazing at the frat party. That's Brooks Koepka.
Yeah.
Chief hazer.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
He's like a 90s sort of like American movie, college movie.
Yeah, about cheerleading, and he's kind of the main girl's boyfriend who's, pretty horrible, and she ends up sort of dumping him for the nerd.
Okay, who's the nerd? Who's the nerd at the PGA Tour that she dumps him for? Who would it be? I
don't know, worryingly, because of the age gap, the first person that came to mind was Vijay Singh, but I'm not sure that works.
Akshay Bhatia, that's who she dumps him for.
Yeah.
I'm just looking through now. I'll keep it within the top 100, which does discount a lot of live guys. Just running through some names. There was one
that I really used to not be keen on at all. Do you remember Brant Snedeker?
Yeah. That just because of his name?
No, he... I just wasn't a fan of him. He always used to be quite big on the antics on the green. He's quite in the face of other players,
Mm.
like very over the top with the caddy. He behaved like they do at the Ryder Cup, just on the tour,
Okay.
and I just wasn't a fan of him. Not my bag.
I didn't like Brian Harmon very much.
Mm.
And then I heard him on the Foreplay pod.
Yeah,
Changed my mind on the guy.
big fan now.
Just quite a likable character. And he had the greatest quote, actually, which was talking about when he won the Open. And he's like, whatever happened to people rooting for the underdog? He was basically waiting for that underdog vibe to kick in and people start rooting for him.
Okay.
Because he's like, what is he, 5'5"?
Yeah.
Like, weighs nothing, doesn't hit the ball a very long way. Like, just not what a modern golfer is, essentially.
Yeah.
And he was just saying, like, whatever happened to that? And it just never happened for him and never has happened to him. And he was talking about his waggles and how, because this year he's reduced his waggles like massively, hasn't he? And he said it was because like he rewatched some of the Open coverage where they were doing the waggle counter on him, and he was just like, I can't be doing that. Yeah. He can't be doing it. But he did say like it worked for me that week. Like it helped me have a routine and get into the zone. So why would I change it, essentially? And I do kind of, like, the more you play golf, the more you get someone going like, well, it's working, why would I change it? I do get it, and especially professional golf, because it's so slow anyway.
Well, we've got a friend, haven't we, who does what is essentially a 40% swing, and has got a collection of about 300 hybrids. But he always seems to strike it sweetly out of the middle of the club.
Not always, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, he is a fairway finder. He hasn't hit it big, but he hits it straight. And you think, well, he could, and it's an unorthodox swing. And you think, do you know what? He could go and get advice from someone and try and completely rebuild that swing, but he probably, percentage-wise, wouldn't hit as many straight shots as he does now. So just leave it. If it ain't broke.
I was watching a lesson once where I've forgotten who. Actually, I'll tell you what, it was Mark Crossfield.
Oh, yeah. Four Eyes.
And it's tough. Yeah, I'm nodding, but I've got glasses on right now.
Yeah. He's tough to watch.
He is tough to watch, but I will say this about Mark Crossfield. His information's pretty good. And he doesn't mind making boring golf videos as long as they're informative. Now, that means he will never reach the heights of other golf YouTubers, which is a bit of a shame, obviously, for him. But his lesson stuff's really good. Like, he was one of the first ones to try out the hack motion stuff. He force plates, everything like that. And he will try and relate that information to you really well. And one of the best things that I heard him say was, don't bother getting lessons if you play once a week. And you sort of think, well, surely if you're playing that much. And he's like, you need to go to a lesson, learn the information they've said to you, remember it, write it down, and then go and practice that for 40 hours. He's like, you think about if you were trying to learn a new language or anything like that, it wouldn't just be one lesson, you walk away and you remember it forever. You have to just drill it over and over and over again. And it's the same with golf. So essentially, weekend golfers, there's not a huge point on going to get lessons unless you've got something very fundamentally wrong. You're starting the game from scratch. Otherwise, you're actually going to hurt your game.
Or if you've got something going on that you just can't remedy yourself, you don't know what's causing it.
I've never got a lesson.
Too busy giving them. All right. Life lessons.
And I'm okay. I'm an okay golfer. I'd like to be better, but I'm very well aware that I don't have the time to implement what a lesson could give me.
Mm.
So unless I want to really hurt myself and go down a route of someone trying to change my swing or change a fundamental part of my game, I'd rather go out and enjoy my golf with what I've got and get better at game management, which you can work on by yourself with a little bit of YouTubing, writing things down, having a routine, rather than going to get a lesson and then being worse for a very, very long time.
I've done the opposite, and over the years had several lessons. And this is to back your point up, whereby too much instruction, too little practice, and therefore insufficient time to actually compute and apply that information. Too many swing thoughts, too many things to work on. So I probably would only consider getting lessons again if there was something very specific that I wanted to work on and I couldn't figure out myself. Like if, I don't know, say I really wanted to learn how to hit a low fade with my driver, for example, and I just couldn't manage it. I couldn't figure it out consistently. That might be something I would consider going and saying, could you help me with this specific thing? Rather than going to a coach and saying, could you make me better at golf?
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I think actually at the start of all lessons, they ask what you want to gain from that lesson, ideally if it's a good coach. So if you can go to them with a very clear bullet point of what you want from that lesson and factor that in to also how much time you're going to have to try and learn that, or how long you're comfortable it taking for you to implement that advice, then that's going to be value for money when it comes to the lesson. I think maybe another thing could be putting. Like you could go to somebody and say,
definitely,
I need a putting lesson, which probably is the best value for money when it comes to strokes gained.
Do you know what? It's funny so that I had 2 lessons just on chipping and putting, and I would say that was the best money I spent on any lessons. Just practicing chipping, and the beauty is as well is you go for an hour's lesson, you're hitting hundreds of chips. And you're getting that repetition and that practice, whereas you can't go and hit hundreds of 4-irons in an hour's lesson. It's exhausting. It's not possible. So chipping and putting, I think, is definitely worth the money. But the problem is, it's not what people want. They want to turn up, get a lesson, and learn how to hit a 300-yard drive.
And the difficulty is, it was always, drive for show, putt for dough. But I think with advancements in strokes gain technology and things like that, I've forgotten the Scott Fawcett. What's the? There's a. I've got to look up the name for this. Decade Golf.
Is he American?
Yeah, Decade Golf.
So over here we'd probably refer to him as Scott Tapp.
It's good.
It's a bit of fun.
It's good.
It's a bit of fun.
It's really good. But Decade Golf is his program, which I think he had like Will Zalatoris early days onto it, and it was basically just a kind of like Moneyball in golf. Of like, do I hit driver here, or do I hit 4-iron where it's before the danger, driver goes after the danger, but actually opens wide up? He'd be like, well, you hit driver all day long, because you want to get as close to the pin as possible, because statistically that says that's where the best place is to be to try and birdie this hole or par this hole on average. So I think with advancements in stuff like that, it is really difficult now to know where is the most important part of your game to improve. I think back in the day we could just rely on the fact of putting. I should get better at putting because I know and it is the easy win part of the game.
I still think it's the easiest place to improve quickly, because you can make your way down a hole, topping it 150 yards at a time, and still be coming out with bogey golf if you can putt.
Yeah. So here we go. From what handicap would you say that putting is the most important? And from what handicap sort of range would you say that driving takes over? Because I think there is a tipping point.
I think driving is important for a super high handicap, just to be able to learn, even if you're just getting the ball 150 yards down there, just to be able to make fairly decent contact and knock it down. Because if you can't hit a ball off the tee and you're topping it 20 yards or slicing it out of bounds, and it's taking you 15 shots to get onto the green, doesn't really matter how good at putting you are. So I think very early days, it's either end of the hole, it's off the tee and on the green. And then I think once you get to that point where, you can consistently drive, say, between 200 and 250.
So what handicap level would you say that most likely is?
Well, I think that sort of consistency comes from like when you get to like, I don't know, say a 20 high teens, where you can 8 out of 10 drives, you can hit 2 to 250 reasonably straight on the fairway. But I think once you get to that point, I think driving becomes a little bit less important. And that's where I think putting becomes massively important, where if you can get your average putts down, if you can knock 5 or 6 strokes off from those silly 3 putts that come with a high handicap, I think that overtakes the importance off the tee. I think worthy of the time investing, because if you consistently hit, say your average drive's 220, say conservative 220, perfectly decent, and 8 out of 10 you can hit them, land it on the fairway at that. I think you have to put quite a lot of time and effort into maybe gain an extra 30 or 40 yards on that consistently, which I don't think is going to transform your game, that extra 30 yards off the tee, for the amount of time you'd have to put into that. Whereas I think if you put that time into putting, I think that could transform your game. And I think that could quickly get you down from a 20 to a sort of mid-low teens.
Okay, so if it's a seesaw and we've gone putting at this end and then we've tried to come back up to try and balance it out to get to, driving at this end back up to putting at this end, where do you think the scale tips again, where you need to improve on your driving
I think
again?
When you're getting to very low teens, 10, high single figures, I think that's when it's really worthy of that time to invest in improving your driving, because then you are looking at trying to consistently drive it 300 plus, and then that is transformative, because you're then creating birdie opportunities that realistically you're not in the hunt for as a higher handicap. You might get the odd birdie, but that's when I think it's worthy of that time to get that big return. So I'd say driving at the upper and lower end of the handicap scale, personally, for me.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd agree on the most part. I'd probably go slightly lower handicap with going back to driving again, because I reckon you can probably get down to shooting late 70s somewhat regularly. You on your best day, as it now is with handicaps, with sort of average driving stats. So I would say from like a 5 handicapper down is where you'd want to pick back up that big stick and try and get better with it to get lower again on your handicap. That's where, in my mind,
and that's reflected by the fact that at that point, that investment is worth it, because you're then going to be, if you get into the realms of you're consistently driving 320, you're bringing eagles into play on, you're bringing lots of birdies into play, and then you're bringing your eagle in as well. So yeah, I'd agree. I think through that middle that middle section of the handicap. I think it's all about once you learn to be able to just make decent contact with the driver, that will improve naturally over time. And I think during that, once you're there, it's all about the putting and chipping.
Yeah, putting's part of the game that I need to focus on a little bit more, because it's one I don't really have an excuse for not practicing, other than it being a bit boring. I think that's the
thing, and I think it's hard to mimic the feeling of practicing and crushing your 4-iron or your driver as it is with a putt.
Yeah. And I think that's maybe where we've lost out a little bit, because I know in the youth system, when it comes to golf, putting competitions are kind of the big thing. Youth golf, they always talk about like summers spent doing putting competitions, and you're going to learn like lifelong skills that will just stay with you, and also putting under pressure, which is hard to replicate when you're by yourself on a putting green. And when you get to our age, like, are you really going to meet up with your mates that often to do a putting competition? Like, probably not. If you're going to be out with your mates playing golf, is you're out on the course playing golf.
Here's a final question for you before we kind of pack it up for the pod. Just this episode, not permanently. Excluding Rory and Tiger, if you could pick one PGA player to play around with, who would it be?
It's a good question.
And it's a once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime.
So there's no opportunity to play with another one later in life. It is one-off.
Have you got someone in mind? Give me a bit of time.
I really like Hovland.
He seems like it'd be good fun, right?
I just think he'd be such a good laugh. He seems like a really, really fun guy.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's the sort of guy that would not take himself too seriously, and also like be giving tips and stuff. I think you say the same about DeChambeau, to be fair. He would be great to play with around golf with.
Bringing a sort of English guy into it, I reckon Justin Rose would be a pleasure to spend 18 holes with.
I love Rosie. He just seems like such a sweet guy. But he's got fire, though. He's quite fiery.
Oh, yeah. But I think answering your question, if it's someone I get to witness for 18 holes as well, right? That's kind of a big part of it.
I know what you're going to say. You're going to say Adam Scott, aren't you?
No, I wasn't actually going to say Adam Scott. I was going to go back on your point of Bryson.
Oh, okay.
Because I think witnessing somebody hit the ball that far is just impressive. And if you're getting a one-on-one with that guy, can we include the fact that he takes me to the range afterwards for like one of his little speed sessions with like some heavy metal music?
Yeah.
That looks impressive. But again,
just to clarify, speed session, give some context there for those that might not be aware of that.
His driving, like he'll basically try and get you to get the highest swing speed that you possibly can.
Yeah. Important context. Thanks.
Through just amping you up and just trying to not worry about missing the ball. Just swinging as hard as you can and seeing what kind of swing speed you can get to would be really interesting. But who was your definite pick?
I think it would have to be Jambo. Though the only worry with him is that I reckon he can be a moody so-and-so when he wants to be.
I reckon he gets like hangry.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he gets just a little bit tetchy around the 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So actually we could be quite good playing partners.
You'd be dreadful playing partners. You're walking in silence.
Just both of us fed up. It's like, what have you had? A pepper army, nothing else.
Just for listener context, David has a slight issue with, I think, a severe dip in blood glucose levels. I can only put it down to around about 2 to 3 p.m. each day, where becomes rather unpleasant to be around, I think is the most accurate summary.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point. I'm
But like
fine.
a 30-minute window, and that's it. And then he's back.
And if I eat tons, like in that window, I'm fine. Like if you get me a nice Monster, nice sugary energy drink, nice coffee. Actually, no, coffee exacerbates it. Actually, don't get me a coffee because I have black, no sugar. So it doesn't help. It makes it worse. Actually, it makes me a little bit more tetchy. But just something sugary, bag of Haribo, something like that. Like just get me through that time, and I'm golden after that. I'm the best company you can keep. It's quite a statement for myself.
Peak you, I think, is having a half an hour nap and then the food and the Monster.
Yeah, that's real.
So if you want to play golf with David, I would suggest you book a tee time for about 1, and then you'll see a distinct drop off when you get to the 6th tee. And then sort of 6 to the 10th is just anyone's guess what's going to happen while he fights
sounds
through,
like my round.
through the sort of 45-minute diabetes he has. And then he's back in the game.
That just sounds like every single golf round I've ever played.
Yeah.
Is like literally the 6th to the 10th tee is kind of anyone's guess. That's horrible. So look, we're playing on Friday. I think we should probably give a quick preview. Because the next pod will be discussing what happened.
And we are expecting drama. Yeah. There will be this is my prediction, okay. It will be light-hearted, it'll be great, 8 friends playing together, but there will be a moment where the cheating nerve is just pressed a little bit too hard, and it just stings because we'll be watching, won't we?
We will. I don't want to. We discussed this like I don't want to watch. Like I really don't want to watch, but at the same time I can't ignore. Like, no, that wasn't a 5. You lost 2 off the tee. Actually, we'll probably do just lateral. Everything's a lateral hazard just for speed of play. But, you dump 2 in the hedge. We're at 5 there. So what are we doing here? There will be that moment, and I've been able to ignore it on the past rounds. And we're coming into this one. I don't think we're going to do the 2 teams that we're heading to Rodway with. I think we're going to try and just keep it friendly. Just go out and play some golf. We don't all play a huge amount anyway, do we? So let's just go out and play some golf. But I just feel like there's some fiddled handicaps going on at all ends of the scale.
I'm not going to be ball watching, but I will be there to call out the I didn't lose a ball all round sort of comments when I've seen half a dozen get blasted on the front 9 into the woods.
Yeah, or a ball found in what can only be described as a Jurassic Park-like selection of ferns.
Yeah.
Which happened.
Yeah.
Which happened last time we were there. Yeah. And it happened to be right at the edge of the ferns.
Right at the edge of the ferns with nothing in the way of the club path at all.
Clear shot to the green, which worked out wonderfully.
Yeah. Almost miraculous. Yeah.
Yeah, so stuff like that. I'm going to try. Honestly, I'll make a promise now to the pod. I'm going to try and ignore it the best I can.
My promise to the pod is to make Dubs break his promise to the pod.
Which you are good at.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the little...
I'll be there in your ear.
Did you see that?
Did you see that? Yeah. I saw a ball fall out of his trousers.
But in all honesty, I just want to play good golf. I think the weather's going to be on our side. I think it looks like it's going to be all right for Friday, which for this time of the year is rare. But it'll be good. It'll be fun. Nice curry afterwards. We'll go and enjoy ourselves, and we'll have a lovely time. And when we get back next week, we'll be telling you how it went, the trials and the tribulations, and hopefully a few birdies.
So they call us the BirDie Golf Club.
That's right.